The Pacific Ocean had witnessed countless battles between titans of metal and circuitry, but nothing in the Decepticons' conquest of Earth had prepared them for what stirred in the depths below. Aboard the warship Nemesis, Soundwave's sensors screamed warnings as spatial coordinates destabilized around their experimental space bridge array. The device, designed to open portals across galaxies for instant energon raids, shuddered violently as unknown energy signatures contaminated the dimensional pathway. "Soundwave, report!" Megatron's voice thundered across the command deck. The communications officer's visor flickered with cascading data. Space bridge experiencing critical anomaly. Unknown energy source interfering with dimensional matrix. Signature does not match any known energon variant or Cybertronian technology. The space bridge erupted in a maelstrom of crackling purple energy, but instead of opening a controlled portal to distant worlds, it tore reality itself. The rift pulsed with something ancient, something that predated the Transformers' arrival on this organic world by millions of years. Deep beneath the ocean floor, in caverns that stretched into Earth's very core, a territorial presence awakened. Godzilla had slumbered in hollow Earth's radiation-rich chambers, maintaining the planet's natural balance as he had for eons. The dimensional tear registered as a threat, foreign energy violating his domain. Massive eyes opened in the darkness. The king of the monsters began his ascent. Seismic sensors across the Pacific Rim lit up simultaneously. In Nest headquarters, human soldiers monitoring Transformer activity froze as new readings overwhelmed their systems. This wasn't Cybertronian, this was something else entirely. "Sir, we're detecting a massive biosignature rising from the Mariana Trench," a technician reported, voice shaking. "Energy output it's off the charts. Whatever this is, it makes our largest readings of Transformer activity look like background radiation." The water began to glow with eerie blue luminescence as atomic energy rose from the depths. If you want to see more characters enter different universes, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character and the universe you'd want to see them in down in the comments below. The collision of Earth's ancient guardian with Cybertron's warring factions was about to reshape both their wars forever. Godzilla broke the surface 3 miles from the Nemesis, water cascading off dorsal plates that glowed with building nuclear power. The Titan's roar split the sky, a challenge that echoed across dimensions. Megatron stood at the observation deck of the Nemesis, optics fixed on the massive creature that had emerged from Earth's depths. Lesser Decepticons would have retreated, lesser beings would have fled, but the Lord of the Decepticons recognized opportunity when primal power presented itself. "Magnificent," Megatron said, his voice carrying dangerous appreciation. "Soundwave, full spectral analysis. I want to know everything about this creature, its energy source, its vulnerabilities, its potential usefulness to our cause." The data streamed across holographic displays. The creature stood over 300 feet tall, massing tens of thousands of tons. Its body radiated thermal energy at levels that rivaled energon reactors. Most intriguing, the creature absorbed and metabolized radiation, converting it into devastating offensive capability. "A living weapon," Megatron mused. "Earth's organisms continue to surprise me. This beast could be the key to ending the Autobot resistance once and for all." Starscream's whining voice cut through his commander's contemplation. "Lord Megatron, perhaps we should exercise caution. This creature's power readings suggest..." "Suggest what, Starscream? That I should cower before an organic beast?" Megatron's fusion cannon powered up with menacing hum.
This world has bowed to Cybertronian supremacy. Its creatures will learn the same lesson. But as Megatron prepared to demonstrate Decepticon dominance, Godzilla's dorsal plates flared brilliant blue. The Titan had identified the massive aerial vessel as a threat to his territory. In Hollow Earth, challenges were answered with overwhelming force. The atomic breath carved through the sky, a concentrated beam of thermonuclear plasma that had incinerated countless challengers across millennia. It struck the Nemesis's starboard shields with catastrophic force, sending the warship listing violently. Decepticon crew members crashed against bulkheads as alarms shrieked warnings. "Evasive maneuvers!" Megatron roared, gripping a support beam as his flagship struggled to maintain altitude. "All weapons, return fire!" Missiles and plasma cannons erupted from the Nemesis, filling the air with Cybertronian firepower. Explosions blossomed across Godzilla's armored hide, each one powerful enough to level city blocks. The Titan didn't even flinch. Regenerative tissue absorbed the damage, healing almost as quickly as it appeared. Megatron's optics narrowed with newfound respect and calculation. This was no mindless beast. This was an apex predator defending its domain, and it had just declared war on the Decepticons.
Halfway across the Pacific, Optimus Prime received Ratchet's urgent transmission while transporting Energon supplies to the Autobot base. The medic's voice carried unusual tension. "Optimus, we're detecting massive energy disturbances near Decepticon territory. The signatures are unlike anything in our databases, organic in origin, but with power output exceeding most Cybertronian weapons systems." Prime scanners confirmed the readings: seismic activity, radiation spikes, and what appeared to be a full-scale engagement between Decepticon forces and an unknown combatant. "Autobots, converge on my coordinates. Ratchet, contact Nest. If the Decepticons have awakened something on this planet, the humans deserve to know." By the time Optimus arrived with Bumblebee, Ironhide, and Jazz, the battle had moved to a coastal region. Through his optics, Prime witnessed something that gave even his seasoned tactical processors pause. A colossal reptilian creature, easily matching the size of Metroplex, was engaging a full Decepticon squadron with terrifying efficiency. "Primus preserve us," Ratchet whispered over the comm. "Optimus, that creature is generating its own nuclear reactions. It's a living fusion reactor." Optimus watched Godzilla swat a Decepticon seeker from the sky with his massive tail, the flyer's armor crumpling like tin foil. The Titan moved with surprising agility for something so massive, each step registering on seismographs hundreds of miles away. "It's defending itself," Optimus observed. "The Decepticons attacked first. This creature sees them as invaders in its territory." Jazz pulled up beside Prime in vehicle mode. "Boss, we getting involved in this? Because that thing doesn't look like it needs our help taking apart Decepticons." Before Optimus could respond, Godzilla's dorsal plates ignited again. The atomic breath swept across the battlefield, incinerating 3 Decepticon ground units and forcing the Nemesis to retreat further out to sea. The sheer destructive power was humbling. This creature wielded the energy of stars as naturally as Cybertronians wielded Energon. "We observe for now," Optimus decided, "but prepare to intervene if human populations are threatened. This being has lived on Earth far longer than we have. We are the visitors to its world." Bumblebee's radio clicked through concerned fragments. "Dangerous. Protect. Humans." "Precisely, old friend. We must understand this creature's intentions before choosing sides. Earth has its own guardians, it seems. We may have underestimated this planet's ability to defend itself." Godzilla stood in the shallows, water churning around his massive legs as his primal mind processed the new threats. The metal giants moved with purpose and intelligence, not like the mindless machines humanity built, but as living beings encased in alien armor. Their weapons burned hot, their bodies radiated unfamiliar energy, and most importantly, they fought for dominance over his territory. The Titan's instincts operated on principles older than civilization itself. This was Earth. This was his domain. These metal invaders, regardless of their purpose or origin, had disrupted the balance. The fleeing warship still hovered at the horizon, its weapons trained on him. Godzilla recognized predatory calculation in its retreat, not fear, but tactical repositioning. The creature's territorial imperative flared. Challengers did not retreat unpunished. Those who invaded his domain learned permanent lessons. His dorsal plates began to glow again, nuclear energy building in bioorganic reactors that had perfected fusion before mammals walked upright. But before he could unleash another atomic pulse, new signatures registered. More metal beings, but these positioned themselves differently, not attacking, but observing. Godzilla's ancient senses detected subtle differences in their energy patterns. These ones carried less aggressive intent. Optimus Prime stood on a cliff overlooking the beach, fully visible to the Titan. He made no threatening movements, weapon systems powered down. "Easy, friend," Prime said, knowing the creature likely couldn't understand Cybertronian language, but hoping tone and posture conveyed peaceful intent. "We are not your enemies." Godzilla's eyes, frighteningly intelligent for something humans dismissed as an animal, fixed on the Autobot leader. The Titan's head tilted slightly, processing. This metal being radiated different energy than the attackers. Protective, not predatory. Guardian, not conqueror. The standoff lasted 30 seconds that felt like hours. Then Godzilla's dorsal plates dimmed slightly, not extinguished, but banked. A warning, not an attack. The Titan began walking parallel to the coast, massive footfalls creating new geography with each step. His path would take him past the Autobots without engaging them. "He's leaving," Jazz said with audible relief. "Guess we passed inspection." "For now," Optimus replied, watching the Titan's retreating form. "The Decepticons will not abandon this. Megatron sees a weapon to be controlled. That creature sees invaders to be eliminated. We stand between two apex predators, and Earth hangs in the balance." Godzilla submerged offshore, dorsal plates cutting through water like ominous fins. The king of monsters had marked the metal beings, some as enemies, some as uncertainties. And deep in his atomic heart, he sensed the strange energy they all carried. It called to something in his biology, promising power and sustenance. Starscream had endured enough humiliation. While Megatron licked his wounds aboard the damaged Nemesis, the Air Commander saw opportunity in the chaos. The Beast had bested their lord, proof of Megatron's failing leadership. But Starscream, with superior aerial tactics and seeker cunning, would succeed where brute force had failed. "Thundercracker, Skywarp, form up on my wings," Starscream commanded, his voice dripping with ambition. "We're going to bring that creature down and present it to Megatron as proof of my tactical superiority." Skywarp's skeptical voice crackled over the comm. "Starscream, did you see what that thing did to the Nemesis? Maybe we should, what, exercise caution, retreat like cowards?" Starscream's null rays powered up as he banked toward the creature's last known position. "That beast operates on primitive instinct. We possess superior technology, aerial supremacy, and Cybertronian intellect. It doesn't stand a chance against coordinated seeker assault." They found Godzilla 3 miles offshore, dorsal plates
points visible above the waves like ominous islands. Starscream initiated Attack Pattern Omega, strafing runs from multiple vectors, overwhelming the target with synchronized firepower. Missiles streaked from the sky, explosions erupting across the Titan's back and shoulders. For 5 seconds, Starscream allowed himself to believe he'd succeeded where Megatron had failed. Then, Godzilla rose from the ocean in full fury. The Titan's roar shattered windows on distant shorelines. His tail whipped from the water with devastating speed, catching Skywarp mid-flight. The Decepticon's armor crumpled as he spiraled into the sea, transformation systems failing. Thundercracker broke formation, survival instincts overriding orders. "Coward!" Starscream screamed, but his bravado cracked as Godzilla's dorsal plates ignited. The atomic breath carved through the air where Starscream had been milliseconds before, his desperate transformation to jet mode barely saving his wings from incineration. The Air Commander fled at supersonic speed, all thoughts of glory abandoned. Behind him, Godzilla's eyes tracked the retreating shape with predatory focus. The Titan had learned something crucial. The metal beings could fly, but they could also bleed. Starscream landed on the Nemesis in disgrace, his armor scorched and his pride shattered. Megatron's cold laughter echoed across the command deck. "Tell me, Starscream," the Decepticon leader said with cruel satisfaction, "how did your superior tactics fare against Earth's apex predator?" The Air Commander had no response. Godzilla had just taught the Decepticons their first honest lesson about Earth. This planet defended itself.
The emergency session at Nest headquarters descended into controlled chaos as world governments processed satellite footage of the engagement. General Morshower stood before screens, displaying Godzilla dismantling Decepticon forces with terrifying efficiency, while Autobot readings indicated they were observing, not engaging. "Gentlemen, ladies," Morshower addressed the assembled international representatives, "we have a new variable in the Cybertronian conflict, and frankly, I'm not sure if it's a threat or an opportunity." The Chinese ambassador leaned forward. "This creature attacked Decepticons specifically. Perhaps it recognizes them as invaders, hostile to Earth's ecosystem. Or it's territorial and indiscriminate," the Russian delegate countered. "Today it fights Decepticons. Tomorrow it might attack population centers. We cannot afford assumptions." Optimus Prime's holographic image materialized in the center of the room, his presence commanding immediate attention. "With respect, this being has existed on Earth far longer than humanity. Our records indicate similar creatures have been documented throughout your history, ancient protectors maintaining planetary balance. We are the newcomers to its world." "Prime's right," Agent Fowler interjected, pulling up classified files. "We've got fragmentary records going back centuries, different cultures, same stories. Giant creatures rising when the planet faces existential threats. This thing isn't random, it's responding to what it perceives as an invasion." The British representative adjusted his glasses nervously. "Are you suggesting we should ally with this monster against the Decepticons?" "I'm suggesting we don't make an enemy of Earth's natural defense system," Fowler replied. "The Autobots came here seeking refuge. The Decepticons came for conquest. That creature seems to understand the difference." Morshower pulled up tactical projections. "Our analysts believe the creature is drawn to energon radiation. It absorbed energy from Decepticon weapons fire and grew stronger. If we could communicate with it, establish parameters—" "You cannot negotiate with a force of nature, General," Optimus said solemnly, "but you can respect it. The Autobots will not engage this guardian unless human lives are directly threatened. We recommend your governments adopt similar restraint." The Japanese delegate spoke quietly. "My country has experience with such beings. We call them kaiju.
And history teaches us that humanity's survival often depends on accepting that some powers cannot be controlled, only endured or guided. The vote was close, but the resolution passed. Observe and monitor, but do not engage. Earth's governments would tacitly accept Godzilla as a natural counterforce to Decepticon aggression. The Autobots would act as intermediaries if necessary. Humanity had just chosen sides in a war between titans, whether they fully understood it or not.
Godzilla sensed the energy before he saw its source. The radiation signature called to something fundamental in his biology, similar to the atomic power he absorbed from Earth's core, but alien in composition, sharper, more concentrated. The Titan's dorsal plates flickered with responsive energy as he tracked the signal to an underwater Decepticon mining operation. Soundwave had established the covert energon extraction facility 3 months prior, drilling into a rich vein discovered beneath the Pacific Shelf. The operation had processed hundreds of energon cubes, fueling Decepticon operations across the hemisphere. Now, as Godzilla approached, the facility's sensors screamed warnings. Massive biosignature approaching from bearing 270, a Viacon reported frantically. It's the creature from the surface engagement. The facility commander, a Decepticon named Hardshell, transformed to his vehicle mode. All units, defensive positions, protect the energon stores at all costs. Godzilla crashed through the underwater installation like it was made of paper. His claws tore through reinforced Cybertronian steel. His tail demolished support structures, and his atomic breath superheated the water into explosive steam. But the Titan wasn't destroying for destruction's sake. He was hunting the energy source. When Godzilla's jaws closed around an energon storage container, something extraordinary happened. The alien energy matrix interfaced with his bioatomic systems. Energon, raw, unrefined Cybertronian life force, flooded into Godzilla's body. His dorsal plates erupted with blinding blue-white light as power levels spiked exponentially. The Titan roared, and the sound carried physical force. Viacons were swept away by the shockwave. Hardshell barely escaped as the entire facility collapsed. Godzilla absorbed container after container of energon, his body converting the alien energy with terrifying efficiency. On the Nemesis, every alarm system activated simultaneously. Soundwave's monotone carried rare urgency. Energon Facility 7 destroyed. Creature has consumed approximately 400 energon cubes, power output increasing geometrically. Megatron watched the readings with growing concern and dark fascination. It's feeding on our resources, converting energon into biological energy. The implications were staggering. Energon wasn't just similar to Godzilla's radiation, it was compatible fuel. And now, the Titan had discovered an abundant new food source, scattered across Earth in every Decepticon cache and mining operation. Godzilla emerged from the destroyed facility, his body radiating power like never before. The energon-enhanced atomic energy coursed through him, amplifying his already formidable abilities. His eyes glowed with fierce intelligence as he turned toward the nearest energy signature. Another Decepticon facility. More food, more power. The hunt had become something far more dangerous. Godzilla now actively sought Decepticon installations, driven by both territorial imperative and the addictive draw of energon. Every cache destroyed weakened the Decepticons while making their enemies stronger. Megatron stood alone on the volcanic shore, fusion cannon powered down, staring at the massive shape rising from the ocean. Pride demanded this confrontation. Logic screamed retreat, but the Lord of the Decepticons had never been ruled by logic alone. "So you've come,"
Megatron said, voice carrying across the water. Earth's ancient guardian, feeding on Cybertronian power. You've destroyed 3 of my facilities, consumed enough energon to fuel an army, and humiliated my forces. Impressive for an organic beast. Godzilla's response was a low, rumbling growl that vibrated through the ground. The Titan emerged fully from the waves, energon-enhanced power crackling across his dorsal plates. He was larger than before, more powerful, more dangerous. The alien energy had pushed his evolution into overdrive. But you've made a critical mistake, Megatron continued, his fusion cannon beginning to charge. You've attracted the personal attention of Megatron, Lord of the Decepticons, Conqueror of Kion, and your superior in every way that matters. I am the apex predator of Cybertron, and you will learn your place in the natural order. Godzilla roared, a challenge that split the sky and sent seabirds fleeing for miles. 2 apex predators stood face to face, neither willing to yield territory or dominance. Megatron struck first. His fusion cannon unleashed a concentrated blast of energized plasma that could pierce starship armor. It struck Godzilla's center mass, creating an explosion that lit up the evening sky. The Titan staggered, but didn't fall. Godzilla's retaliation came instantly. Atomic breath, now amplified by absorbed energon, carved through the air in a focused beam of thermonuclear devastation. Megatron's shields flared desperately, the Decepticon leader diving behind a rock formation as superheated stone exploded around him. Impressive, Megatron admitted, transforming to his jet mode and taking to the air. He strafed Godzilla with missiles and cannon fire, each impact powerful enough to level buildings. The Titan's hide absorbed the punishment, regenerating almost as fast as it was damaged. But Megatron was learning. He targeted joints, eyes, softer tissue between armored plates. Godzilla responded with devastating tail strikes, each swing capable of crushing Cybertronian armor. When Megatron dodged too close, massive jaws nearly closed on his wing. The battle raged for 20 minutes, an eternity in combat between beings of such power. Megatron's tactical brilliance met Godzilla's primordial ferocity. Neither could gain decisive advantage. The Decepticon leader's weapons were precise and devastating. The Titan's body was an evolving weapons system millions of years in development. Finally, both combatants paused, circling each other with newfound respect. Megatron's armor bore scorch marks and dents. Godzilla bled from a dozen wounds that were already healing. A stalemate, Megatron said, his voice carrying grudging admiration. For now. Godzilla's dorsal plates pulsed with warning light. The message was clear: leave my territory. The standoff shattered when Decepticon reinforcements arrived. Megatron had never intended to fight alone. Soundwave, Shockwave, and a full squadron of Viacons descended on the volcanic shore, weapons charging. The ambush was classic Megatron. Engage the enemy's pride, then crush them with overwhelming force. "You see, beast," Megatron said, rising into formation with his warriors. "I recognize your power, which is precisely why I cannot allow you to exist as a free variable. You will serve the Decepticon cause, or you will be eliminated." Godzilla's response was immediate fury. His dorsal plates ignited like a fusion reactor going critical. Energon amplified atomic power, building to levels that made Cybertronian sensors scream warnings. The Titan had faced pack hunters before, ancient Mutos, rival alphas, human armies. The tactics were always the same. The outcome was always the same. But before Godzilla could unleash devastation on the Decepticon forces, a massive blue and red form landed between the two armies. Optimus Prime stood at full height, ion blaster raised toward the Decepticons, his other hand extended toward Godzilla in a gesture of restraint. Enough! Prime's voice carried the authority of a leader who had commanded armies for millennia. Megatron, your obsession with control will be your undoing. This being is not a weapon to be wielded. It is Earth's guardian, and we are guests on its world. Ever the philosopher, Optimus, Megatron sneered. Stand aside, or fall with the beast. More Autobots emerged from cover positions. Ironhide, Bumblebee, Jazz, Ratchet, and a dozen others. The volcanic shore had become a powder keg. 3 factions locked in tense standoff. Human military forces observed from distant positions, weapons ready, but holding fire per the government's directive. Optimus turned slowly to face Godzilla, powering down his weapons in a gesture of trust. The Titan's eyes, ancient and frighteningly intelligent, studied the Autobot leader. Prime spoke, knowing the creature might not understand words, but hoping it would grasp intent. We came to your world seeking refuge from our war. The Decepticons came seeking conquest. You defend your home as we defend those who cannot protect themselves. We are not enemies, Guardian. We share the same purpose. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then Optimus did something that made both Autobots and Decepticons freeze in shock. He knelt. The leader of the Autobots, Primus's chosen warrior, lowered himself before Earth's ancient protector in a gesture of respect. Godzilla's dorsal plates dimmed slightly. The Titan took one massive step forward, bringing his head level with the kneeling Prime. Their eyes met, mechanical and organic, alien and terrestrial, but both warriors who understood the weight of protecting others. The moment shattered as Megatron's patience broke. Pathetic sentimentality. His fusion cannon fired at Godzilla's exposed flank. Both Prime and Godzilla moved in response. The atomic breath and ion blaster fired simultaneously, one targeting Megatron's position, the other covering Godzilla's flank against Soundwave's sonic attack. The combined assault forced the Decepticons into evasive maneuvers, their ambush formation breaking apart under coordinated defense. Megatron realized his tactical error immediately. He'd assumed the Autobots and the creature would never cooperate, that their fundamental differences would prevent alliance. But Optimus Prime had done what Megatron's pride could never allow, acknowledged a power greater than his own, and offered respect instead of dominance. Decepticons, withdraw, Megatron commanded, his strategic processors calculating the new equation. Fighting both Autobots and an Energon-enhanced Titan simultaneously was suicide. This engagement is concluded. As the Decepticons retreated skyward, Starscream's whining voice crackled over the comms. "Lord Megatron, we're abandoning the field? Our superiority is irrelevant against opponents who refuse to fight separately." Megatron cut him off coldly. "Prime has played this perfectly. The beast sees us as invaders and them as acceptable. We require new strategies." On the shore, the Autobots maintained defensive positions as Godzilla watched the Decepticons flee. The Titan's dorsal plates remained lit, but no longer building to critical release. Optimus rose slowly from his kneeling position, maintaining eye contact with the massive creature. "Thank you," Prime said simply, "for recognizing the difference between protectors and conquerors." Godzilla's response was a low rumble, not aggressive, but not entirely trusting either. The Titan began walking back toward the ocean, each footstep a seismic event. Before submerging, he turned back one final time, studying the gathered Autobots. Then, with a final glance at Optimus Prime, Godzilla slipped beneath the waves. Ratchet approached Prime cautiously. "That was the most dangerous diplomatic negotiation I've ever witnessed. You gambled our entire position on the assumption that creature would understand symbolic gestures." "Not an assumption, old friend, a hope. And in my experience, hope grounded in respect rarely disappoints." Bumblebee's radio clicked through concerned fragments. "Gee, what now? Still dangerous. Energon supplies." "Now," Optimus said, "we inform our human allies that Earth has an additional guardian, one that predates our arrival and will likely outlast our departure. We adjust our operations to minimize territorial conflicts and ensure our energon mining doesn't provoke further confrontation." Jazz whistled low. "So we just got ourselves an ally who doesn't take orders, doesn't need protecting, and eats the same fuel we do. That's going to complicate logistics." "Perhaps," Optimus acknowledged, "but I would rather share this world with its rightful guardian than claim dominion over it. The Decepticons seek to conquer Earth. We sought refuge. That creature just reminded us which role we occupy." Deep beneath the Pacific, Godzilla settled into a volcanic trench, his body processing the absorbed energon and integrating it into his bioatomic systems. The metal beings were now categorized. Some were territorial invaders to be destroyed, others were temporary occupants to be monitored, and somewhere in the Titan's ancient consciousness, a new instinct formed: protect the planet from the invaders, tolerate the protectors. Earth had fundamentally changed in the span of 72 hours. 3 powers now watched over the planet, each with different methods, different philosophies, but converging purposes. The Autobots maintained their vigil against Decepticon aggression while earning humanity's tentative trust. The Decepticons regrouped and plotted, seeking ways to either control or eliminate the Titan threat. And Godzilla resumed his ancient role as Earth's apex guardian, now aware that the metal beings posed both threat and strange kinship. Megatron knew he couldn't ignore the creature. Every energon facility was now a potential battleground, every mining operation shadowed by the possibility of Godzilla's arrival. The Decepticon leader began developing contingencies, sonic weapons tuned to the creature's frequency, energon lures to draw it into traps, even plans to weaponize other Earth creatures against it. But for the first time in the war, Megatron felt the uncomfortable pressure of fighting on multiple fronts against enemies who wouldn't follow Cybertronian combat doctrine. Optimus Prime reported the encounter to the Autobot High Council on Cybertron, his message carrying both warning and wonder. Earth wasn't just another organic world caught in their war. It was a living ecosystem with its own defenses, its own guardians. The Autobots adjusted their presence accordingly, establishing protocols to avoid territorial conflicts and minimize energon extraction in regions Godzilla had marked. Humanity watched from the sidelines, simultaneously terrified and awed. Their planet hosted warring alien robots and an ancient Titan, both capable of reshaping civilization in hours. Governments established monitoring networks, tracking Godzilla's movements and Cybertronian activity with equal vigilance. The question on every leader's mind: when the next crisis came, which protector would humanity call upon? In the depths of the Pacific, Godzilla's eyes opened periodically, sensing the ebb and flow of energy across his territory. The metal beings' war continued, but now with an understanding: invade and face the king of monsters, protect and be tolerated. The balance was fragile, temporary, but it held. The war for Earth had gained a third player, one who answered to no faction and followed no orders. Godzilla had entered the Transformers universe, and neither Autobot nor Decepticon would ever forget the lesson. This world had teeth long before they arrived. May the Force be with you. More stories await.